All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are live. I'm really excited. This is Jasmine Sandler, your host at Warrior Women in Business, Warrior Women in Business podcast, and Warrior Women in Business, a very mission driven women's membership organization here in New York City and in Beverly Hills. And today is podcast episode 74. I might be slightly out of breath because I have been running around the city like a mad woman getting ready for our Fashion Week fashion event on Valentine's Day. So if I'm out of breath, it's because I literally just walked in the door and it's been a whirlwind, but so exciting. So I'm really excited to have my guest on today, who is going to be the designer behind the entire Warrior Women collection. She has her own amazing collection. She is the exact right fit for any Warrior Women. I've been looking for a fashion designer to work with for many years. And funny how I found Sarah Jones Thomas, who I'm going to chat about in a second. I was actually on a podcast, Women Investing in Women out of London, and the host said to me, what's your plans for 2026? And this was like well over a year ago. And I said, well, I've been wanting since 2019 to launch a couture fashion brand, and I haven't found the right designer. And she said, you have to connect with my friend. So this is, it all came to fruition. So I'm Jasmine Sandler. This is Warrior Women in Business. We are a media and marketing organization based out of New York City that is extremely mission driven around helping to drive the economic development of women in business and women in the arts. And as a part of that, we do a lot around the world of styling in the world of personal branding. And for many years, I have referred my female executive clients, female art clients to different stylists, but never had a fashion designer to work with. And I always said, this is the missing piece of the female executive. So here we are, flash forward a year later, and we're launching a Warrior Women Couture fashion line by Sarah Jones Thomas on Valentine's Day, a day of self-love. And it's a very important event that we're having, and I'll get into the podcast, but just to touch on the event. This event is every year. If you don't know Warrior Women in Business, I have several causes I care about. One of my bigger causes is working with the mayor's office to help to end gender-based violence. And so for this year, we're working with the New York City mayor's office during Teen Violence Month, which affects families, which in a cyclical way affects everybody, to help them to not just spread the awareness around that initiative, but also to help them to drive up interest and obviously donations, to help them to provide programs within schools in New York City. It's very cool. So we're having a charity fundraiser as part of our fashion show with EPN Fashion Week on Valentine's Day. So all that being said, I've been running around talking to lots of companies that are interested in joining as silent auction partners with us. I just signed up another one today. Different partners that are working with us, different women's organizations that we partner with. We're very open ecosystem of working with different women's organizations. So if you're at all interested in fashion, you're definitely in the right place today. So with that being said, I want to get started and just give you a little bit of background about Sarah, and she could give you a better background, but just from what I have here. So like I said, we're definitely in alignment on supporting, armoring female executives and women in business in a gorgeous, sophisticated, resilient way, so they can get out there and be powerful. She is the CEO and founder of Sarah Jones Custom Apparel out of Dallas, Texas, and I'm going there next week. I'm really excited. She's a fashion designer, educator, and innovator of the custom clothing genre. And I have to say, Sarah, and for the audience, I think you're very unique because in my work, I've come across designers, stylists, but there's no one that I've found that has all of those things together. They're generally a stylist or a designer, but the education piece I think is critical because in my work, we're always educating women on how to really own their brand and, help them to identify their areas of strength and go after them. So I think that's truly an important piece that you bring to any of these warrior women. She is dedicated to serving her custom clothing clients by taking a deep dive into who they are, right? And I think that's so important. As I say, and I think it's kind of obvious, every executive I work with, I always say everybody's unique. Every single person has something different about them that they should embrace. And I think that's the power of really your success as a woman in business. She is a public speaker. She also is a fashion illustration professor at the University of North Texas, and she has over 20 years of experience in the fashion industry. So I asked her to be on today so we could talk about the event, yes, but more importantly, just a lot of questions about how you serve women, like what you see in your common everyday work, working with, I know that I'm a extremely busy person, and I know that all of my female executives and female entrepreneurs that are coming up are busy. So, having someone that they can trust, especially with their look and feel, is so, so important. So, I want to first thank you for taking your time out to be on, Sarah.
No, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Excellent. And we see your beautiful pieces behind you. You know, we're going to talk about that today. And
Yeah.
I am wearing, I don't know if you can see it, everyone, but I am wearing the self-love necklace, which is gorgeous. I love it. And this is it's going to be a big part of our event. This event is all about self-love and moving forward. So let's talk about your journey. Let's talk about specifically your passion for helping women look and feel their absolute best. And then also, I want to know your love for fashion and design. Where does that come from?
Sure, I'd love to answer. So I grew up in Houston, Texas, and there are a couple of things when I was reflecting before our conversation that kind of the short version of how I got into design is I have always been tall, which can be hard just if you're petite, if you're tall, if you're not an off the rack size, you can be limited. But how that actually developed me is I could buy tops at this store and barely jeans
Mm,
at this store and everything. So I got used to I couldn't just like, oh, that outfit, I'm going to buy that. I had to really merchandise it together myself, finding
mm,
out what fit me, but also have an appreciation of what a difference it makes when you do have something that fits you properly. And also growing up in Houston, kind of in the late 90s, um, in Houston, everybody dressed you had a different outfit for every single thing that you did. Every place you went, everywhere you went. And so when we'd travel, it's like, yes, these are my four suitcases. Why do you ask? And
wow.
I think once I went to design school, which, I loved design, I loved everything about the fashion industry. But really, as I explored photography, explored modeling, explored all the different things, I was like, you know what, design and deconstructing those garments and just sort of, I almost also majored in architecture, but again, decided that apparel was where my design love lay. So, but all of those things I think led me to once I started doing that, I was like, oh, well, I want to make an outfit that I can wear here and wear there and dress
Yeah,
up and dress down. And just that versatility piece came in and it was
so
so
critical.
freeing. It was like, wait a second, I don't have to bring 30 outfits for a 4-day trip. Like,
Yeah.
so it was just, and I don't, and as far as, a lot of time has passed, but I don't think anybody wants to do that anymore. Like, it's fun to have special outfits, different things,
Of
but we
course.
want that versatility. We want to be comfortable and we want to look amazing. And so I think that I've kind of coined the effortlessly put together, you're not so basic basics. Because, I love design, I love interest and the different textures and design lines, but I don't want to be fussy. I don't want to have to
Mm,
worry about the things. And so I think all of those have really come together and where I found kind of my zone of genius or what comes naturally to me. And I love helping women that it doesn't come naturally to them, but they want to look good. They want to look effortlessly put together. So I think all of those pieces sort of over time fit together to really form exactly what I'm doing now, which is custom fitting, custom designing, and then also everything is comfortable, versatile, and easy to wear, which I think is very important to people these days.
yeah, it's all very important. And yeah, I don't think anybody wants to carry four suitcases
No,
unless
nobody
they
has
have an
time for that.
entourage of people carrying their four suitcases. But no,
Exactly.
it points to and it's the hurried, fast-paced world, and looking put together is
Hmm.
critical, and also really loving what you're wearing, I think is so, so important. So let's shift for a second because this is Warrior Women in Business. And let's talk about how you created success for yourself as a female entrepreneur, and what advice would you give to other female entrepreneurs in terms of, staying in the long game,
Hmm.
measuring success for yourself.
Thank you. I think it's one of the things that I think has been so important to where I am now is learning to listen to myself and what
Mm,
I'm wanting to do, and really sort of building my world around my strengths, what I actually like, what I actually enjoy doing. And
mm,
it's good to have business mentors, it's good to have coaches, it's good to have all these things, but you have to make sure that the advice people are doling out, it comes from a trusted source.
mhm.
Some people all the time want to tell me what kind of clothes I should make and what kind of, oh, you should go do this, you should go do that. And it's like, if you try to do everything, you won't get anything done. But
That's the truth.
also, but also
Let's
it's like,
highlight that one, but keep going.
absolutely. So, but again, it's like, but I have people in my life that have helped me become a better business person, helped me really focus down and niche down on things.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I have to block out all of the noise that's, I've had people all the time like, oh, everyone's wearing like sweatpants. You should do a
Right. Oh,
sweatpant
I
line.
understand
And it's,
exactly what you mean.
yes. And it's like, yes, I'm sure that's great, but that doesn't mean that that's what I should be doing. Because what
Right.
I
Yeah, you should
love
make the
is
next sweatsuit. Right. Mhm.
exactly. So I think that's important is it's both listening to yourself, but it is good to have mentors, but you can't listen to everybody. And so I think just having, and there's good advice that I've heard out there. They say like, never take criticism from someone or never, I don't know. It's something like if you wouldn't go to them to advice, don't
Right,
take their
exactly.
criticism. It's like if you wouldn't have
Yeah.
sought them out for advice, it's like you have to take it with a grain of salt, I think. So, but and then again, that's where you're coaching and again,
No,
a
I mean
trusted
it's
source.
so true.
Yes, of
I love
course.
this because it's advice, but it's also like who would you hire, right? I mean, who
Exactly.
would you work with? I mean, it took what did I say? It took me at least a year, maybe more. Once I got intentional about the fashion brand, I was
Mhm.
talking to women in Beverly Hills about this, Florida and New York, and I was like, no. So, I think taking your time too, for getting to have
Mhm.
those people, as you mentioned, in your circle. But
Yes.
at the root of it all, I love that you talk about listening to yourself because that's what this event is about. Self-love, really embracing yourself, right?
Mhm.
And
Okay.
listening to yourself. Okay, so let's talk about wardrobe, which is very exciting. I can't wait to come to Dallas. I can't wait to like look at the wardrobe, and I know we're going to sneak peek into the wardrobe a little bit today. Sarah's going to talk about it, what's going to happen on February 14th. But how can a wardrobe, because I mean, believe me, I want to answer this question. But I just built a new closet yesterday. Well, I didn't. Somebody else built it for me, and I was like, man, I need to get rid of half of these things, right? So how
Mhm.
can a wardrobe impact women's lives and how they show up in the world? Just their wardrobe. Let's talk about that.
Well, I grew up with my mom telling me to dress how I wanted to feel. She said, not how you feel. If you are having a bad day, do not go out in sweatpants, like put on a cute skirt, wear some lipstick.
Good advice from your mom.
It's definitely good advice, but it really translates into a lot of things. It's like, how do I want to feel? How do I want to be? One of my favorite marketing things back probably in the 90s, but it was a watch advertisement. They said, who do you want to be in the next 24 hours? And that is,
That's
I
so
think,
smart. I love that.
yes, when you think about wardrobe, think about costume designers. There's an entire
Yeah.
person's job that is picking out the outfits for the different characters because when the best friend comes, sits down on the couch, says two words, and leaves, you
Right.
know who that person is. How do you know who
Absolutely.
that person is?
Absolutely.
It was formulated. And so, in the same way, in business, in your social life, everywhere, wardrobe is such an easy tool to positively affect how you're perceived, how you
Hmm.
show up,
Yep.
and also you feel better. You feel more confident. If you know you look like $1 million and you love your outfit and you're comfortable and confident in what you're wearing, then when you go to make that presentation, when you go to ask for the raise, whatever it is, you it comes across. And I say it's fashion, as much as people like to say it's unimportant, it's just like an interior designer. Yes, could you survive in a white box? Maybe, it wouldn't be fun,
Right.
but you could. But when you're in a beautiful space, when
Oh,
you
it's
walk
such a
into a beautiful
difference.
space, you just feel different. It's life enhancing and it's a better quality of life. But we can't, whether you're thrifting or buying couture or buying custom made for you, and everything in between, which, my custom is actually very accessible, by the way. But anywhere in between, you are telling the world a lot about yourself. It's that nonverbal communication. And I
Mhm.
always tell people, it's like, hey, what do you want people to assume about you before you've opened your mouth?
Yeah.
And that's a starting point. And I think it's just, I'm naturally gifted at the different design, what is fashion but a bunch of combinations of necklines and fabrics and, the flow and the fit and all of those things. But all of those have those connotations that can help you come across more modern, come across more powerful, come across like you are the expert, or come across untrustworthy, come across like, I'm sure they're a nice person, but the job we need is this. And that I just don't feel
It's
their
funny.
subconscious is
Yeah.
judging.
No,
So
it's funny because I consult for both men and women in the executive branding work. And at this point, it's funny. I have my clients say, I love how bare bones honest you are because I just tell them, this is how you need to dress, this is how you need to look, because I manage their, all their visual assets.
mhm.
And all of it, when they're done through the exercise, the photographers come in, the video people come in, and I've told them like I just tell them the colors because I know colors very well. This is what you need
Mhm.
to wear. This is how you need to look. They all then tend to like own that, which is great. So the makeover is very quick because they realize, hey, this really does raise my value as an
Mhm.
executive. And I
Mhm.
don't know why I was doing that before. So I think it's very much a learning process, right, as well
And
for
I
the
like
client.
to use the word for that situation. It's congruency. It's
Yeah.
what is their subconscious assuming about you and what are you saying out of your mouth? And do those
Mm,
line up? And that's where people get the red flags. We're like, she said all the right things. She does all the stuff. I don't know. I'm going to go with Bob. And it's when when those things aren't congruent,
mm.
then people, don't feel as confident choosing you or buying from you or hiring you or whatever the thing is. And so I think it's just, again, an easy tool that when you get your branding and your appearance, all these things and what you're saying and how you're coming across, when it's congruent, then it's a no-brainer and people feel good about using you for whatever the thing is that you're providing value.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Okay, so let's talk about what's a positive way to use what you wear intentionally. I like this question. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, again, I think you can use it to help you embody what you're trying to become. There's sort of that like, who are you today? You're different than you were 5 years ago or 2 years ago, or
Mm,
and who do you want to be tomorrow and next year? What is that? There's some aspirational dressing as far as helping you kind of embody this person that you're becoming as we are all growing in our personal lives and business and all of those things. And same thing too, it's like you can use it as a how do I want to feel, not it doesn't have to be a reflection of how you're feeling. You can
yeah.
use it to change that. But also it's again there's this whole what do they call it? They call it dopamine dressing. There's a whole
Yeah,
category.
I was thinking that
Yes.
when you were talking a little bit about
Yeah.
that can kind of uplift your smile as well. It kind of
Hmm.
then can kick in some endorphins. It sounds
Yeah.
like.
So when you have pieces that you love, or
Yeah.
in whether they have a little bit of whimsy or just a color you love or something that you're just excited about and love, that dopamine, it's dopamine dressing. It's like, oh, I'm wearing this jacket that I found at,
Oh
wherever.
yeah.
And when you're so excited about it, that also can boost your mood. So again, it's a tool both to come across for, professional goals and personal goals, but also just for yourself. Like you said, the self-love, it's like, how do you take care of yourself that, you're in
Mm.
charge of this. This is what you're in charge of. And, be kind to yourself. And it's okay to be excited about the things that you're wearing. And again, it can just impact your day.
Yeah, I love that. And I also thought about the fact that, every woman likes to talk about where they got things, right? And every woman, every woman, and it's
Mhm.
funny, and so I think, in networking situations,
Mhm.
I find that that's really important. Like I very much intentionally will wear something very specific to start a conversation. It's
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
professional. But I think that that's another thing that can help you if you have a hard time, just walking into a room full of a
Mhm.
ton of people, or maybe you get off stage and you're giving a speech and people are asking you questions. Your look really helps you to communicate and sometimes makes it easier. So I think that that's also very positive.
Absolutely.
Okay, how one dresses reflects what's going on in their lives. So how can women be intentional versus passive when this is happening?
Well, on that point, there's two different things. There's some times where and not to be any negative, but if there's some trauma, if there's something negative that's happened, sometimes people will react. They're trying to protect themselves. They don't want to be seen. They don't, whatever the thing is. So there's
Absolutely.
some things like that I think kind of that mind over matter where recognizing if you're having those feelings like, okay, how can I feel confident and comfortable and not shy away and be okay being seen. And part of that comes with feeling comfortable that the clothes that you have, like, fit you well, high quality materials. And though you're going to be more confident dressing your body, whatever size and shape your body
Mm.
is, having something that fits well and good quality, you can represent your body in its best light. So it doesn't matter what you do or don't like about your body. There is a best version of how you dress it. And so there's that. The other thing too is that, like I said, as you're growing and changing or having success or having all of these different things, I think it is important for women to not to be just cognizant that sometimes just out of habit, we're dressing for who we were 5, 10 years ago, or 15 years
Yeah.
ago,
No, I
or
was,
20
it's
years
funny when you
ago.
were talking, I was just thinking of a lot of women that I know
Hmm.
that I don't want to say anything to them because I don't have your job. And so,
Right.
but I know them from a professional setting and I'm out with them and I think she should probably change up her look because I think it's negatively impacting her success, right?
Hmm.
So it's refreshing to hear that though.
Yeah. And the thing is like if you have a favorite thing or that, restyle it, add some different accessories, just
Oh,
I
that's a
think
great point.
where a lot of the clothes that I make, like I call them modern and sophisticated, but they're in some ways timeless. Like as far as it's
Yeah,
nothing that's like,
right.
oh, next week, next year, oh, that's
No,
so
not
out.
trendy.
No, it's
Yeah, no.
looking good is always going to
Mhm.
be in style, flattering your body in a sophisticated style. But I try to have some kind of modern edges to it, different things. And as modern as stuff that I made 10 years ago is, it's like, yeah, but we're going to style it differently. I'm going to wear it differently. We're going to update it with this different accessory, different shoes, different things. So I think it's important to, like, yes, I'm very passionate about like investment dressing, not the fast fashion, like things that are going to
Yeah.
last and be good quality materials. But you also can't hold on forever to, it's like there's sometimes where it's like that has served its purpose and it's okay to freshen up and just continue. But if you have kind of this slow, continual movement, then it's not a big issue. It's where you're like holding on to the past too much. So,
True.
but I think again, even if you have a beloved item from 20 years ago, because there's lots of, I think, vintage and resale and
Of
different things. There's
course. I
pieces
have a
that are
closet just for
amazing.
vintage.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You
No,
know?
they're amazing. And it's
Mm.
just how you style them and how you wear it. I think again, I keep going back to your wardrobe as a tool you can use. And again, just, I think living in the present and your future, moving that direction is positive for that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And I like that you give people kind of the grace to pare down slowly because those decisions can be, I've worked with a lot of stylists and
Yeah.
referred them to clients, and we have an entire package where we bring in stylists. And that can be scary, you know what I mean, for a lot of women to just immediately throw things away. Sometimes
Yeah.
those decisions are very difficult,
Mhm.
especially if you love something, you know.
Yeah.
So I like that grace, and probably you're talking about maybe introducing your clothes slowly, right? Newer clothes into that
Yes. I
collection.
mean, like I said, and it's like even, with our VIP package where we do like 3 new looks, it's like a great like boost to your
Oh
wardrobe. And a lot of
yeah.
times they work well with each other. And then as you get more pieces, or, I have clients too that are like, oh, like I have this silk top that I love, and so I can wear it with this, or let's get another one. And yes,
Hmm.
as you're kind of working pieces in, and you should, as you're, things should kind of mix and match. Obviously, there are some things that are like, this is an outfit, but almost everything you can style, and jackets and layers and different things, especially depending on your climate, different scarves and accessories. But yeah, I think it's that gradual, like continuing to add, so again, slowly, you don't have to go buy a million things all at one time.
No.
It's more about like, what's a piece that I'm excited about that fits me well, that's good quality, and start there. It doesn't have to be this big shopping spree, and it doesn't have to be an entire closet purge. It's like, what's something that I could wear with some of my other pieces that will make it look more modern, that will kind of reinvigorate my closet, that I'm excited about it. Because again, not about, it's about how you feel in your wardrobe, because then
Hmm.
you're going to show up to anybody you're interacting with the better energy. So it's for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like that you talked about, armoring yourself
Mm,
and the cold weather because that's what we're talking about. Well, it's cold
yeah.
today and it's going to be even colder in February, I think. So I want to talk to you about. So when I came to you, I said, I have this brand, Warrior Women. I want to
Hmm.
build a fashion line. I have this idea that I've
Hmm.
had since the day I walked into Prada in 2018, and I grabbed the designer there, and started like chatting his ear off, and he's like, "Hey, I like this idea. Prada's not going to do it, but I like your idea." So I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, that's all I needed, that green light signal from somebody in the industry." Because my idea was, it needed to be strong and resilient and armor like, but also
Hmm.
elegant, sophisticated, and moving forward.
Hmm.
So when I said to you, hey, I have this brand and I want to create a fashion line, Warrior Women, what came to mind in your mind as a designer?
Well, I loved that, when you said warrior women in business, because I feel like, when you talk about what does it take to be a successful businesswoman, it's like resiliency, strength, preparedness, determination, effectiveness. And you have to be equipped also, and that can be skill sets, that can be your apparel. And I think women in general, that's one of the things that they want from their wardrobe is, am I prepared? Am I
Absolutely.
adequately, do I have that
Absolutely.
go-to look? Do I feel amazing in this? And again, it is a thing of the past, in my opinion, that we're going to just change clothes 30 times in one day. It's like, absolutely not. We want a
No.
wardrobe that I can go to these four different environments and feel amazing and just, and I have what I need. And I think that's when you think of a warrior, just think, back when, we had more warriors and things like that, they are helping others. They are providing a job and a service that others can't do for themselves necessarily. And I think so many of those attributes are a woman in business. You have to be resilient, and that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the ones that win are the ones that didn't give up. And so, and with all that versatility, it's exactly the clientele that I have already been doing the custom looks for, because that's what they want. They want that modern, little bit of edgy, and they want to be equipped and armored up for their day. And they want to come across powerful and modern and again, equipped to be taken seriously, equipped to be confident in what they're wearing, and just know that they are rocking that room when they walk in and all eyes are on them, and they can command the attention that they are there to command, that they deserve. And so I think that is very much in line with who I like to design for, because it is, we're kind of are called to be warriors sometimes if you want to be successful.
Especially in New York and other major cities.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I haven't heard, so that I interviewed this Army general, this amazing, one of my favorite podcast guests, because I actually did a tour of the Women's Veteran Memorial in DC with
Hmm.
her, is
Yeah.
incredible. But we really didn't talk about preparedness that much. I think that's an excellent analogy. And I was kind of envisioning my head, when you're getting ready and bags are a big thing with me, right? So, and
Mhm.
the bags and the shoes and all the accessories to the clothing. That's the other piece. It's like that's your armor wear,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So, can you like share with us a little bit? I'm hoping that everyone that's watching, listening today is going to be joining us on February 14th. I hope. But share with us a little bit about what to expect from the jewelry, from the line, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, we're going to be playing a little bit on some of the red from your logo and some of that kind of stuff, just from that traditional warrior woman aesthetic. But we're also, again, that woman in business, that we are going to have a really amazing wardrobe for her, both again from the boardroom to after hours, all the things in between, and how to get there. We're going to have some outerwear pieces, capes.
Yeah, very
And I
excited about the
think,
outerwear.
yes, and I think part of what we've learned, especially even just from when I think of the influences from art and movies and this whole kind of genre that we're thinking of, I think we're going to definitely have some really stunning, unique pieces mixed into. So you'll have your not so basic basics, but you might have a jacket that has a really amazing applique on one side, or something that does really stand out. Because again, I think that is part and parcel to what women want to do. They want to be equipped, they want to look amazing and look strong. but also that unique detailing that makes it special and interesting, but that you can still wear all the time. So I think it's going to be a really fun time. We have the Warrior Women jewelry, the ones that are gold plated. We have some fun styles like
Yes.
the one that you're wearing.
Yep.
There's some bigger medallions. There's some great cuffs. Some of them with stones, some of them with like the hammered metal, some different things. But again, just sort of some details. I have a metal belt that I'm planning to have incorporated in the show that is just such a go-to modern piece.
Perfect.
So that sort of is going to evoke that modern future warrior women in business.
I love it. I'm so excited for this event. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. It's going to be because not only is it the launch of the line and what we're doing, and it's going to be very cool. And women in New York, I tell you, they will love it. But also, it's such a good cause. The fact that we're able to come together and support what the new mayor's office is doing. It seems like it's just all so timely and also helpful. So it's going to be fantastic. Okay, so now let's talk about resources because I ask all my guests about resources. So since I started to tell people I'm launching a fashion line with a fashion designer, oh my
Mhm.
God, every girl in the universe is like, can I work for you? I keep saying, well, I really don't own a fashion company, but I do have a great new team of interns that are volunteering to help out on site. But there's a lot of women that are
Mhm.
very interested in being in the industry, whether,
Mhm.
as you mentioned up front, you talked about your journey, whether it's a fashion designer or, maybe it's a sketch artist, maybe it's a merchandiser, right? Or any of the
Mhm.
number of other occupations within the industry. Are
Mhm.
there any specific women's resources, like women's organizations or women's groups, or maybe, I don't know, YouTube channels that you would point to for women that want to learn about getting in the industry and connecting with other women?
There's the interesting thing about the fashion industry is that, of course, I mean, apparel, it has been around forever. So there is a very traditional part of the fashion industry. Like I went to fashion design school, learned how to make patterns, how to make clothes, how to do all these
Right.
things, how to do sketches, how to do all of that. And of course, in the age of AI and machine learning, like all of the different things, do you need all of those skills? Maybe
Mm.
not. And even some people that I've met that were adults saying they were considering, wanting to start their own line or something. It's like, what,
Ah,
take a community college pattern making class. Like it depending. So it's like, what skills do you want to have? Or do you want to hire people with those skills? Or do you want to figure out a way to do it all on computer? But again, I always tell people, it's like, what skills do you have? What skills do you need? How
great
do
point.
you get those to come together? So whether that's traditional education, I mean, and there's people that will start fashion lines and they're putting screen printing designs on pre-made t-shirts. And that is and even they sell them, so that is
Yeah,
technically
we already
also
have
part.
that line, but yeah,
Yes,
you could
yeah,
start
exactly.
there.
So
That's where
it's,
we started.
yes, because again,
And then I
it's very
realized, well, this
accessible.
is not really where I want to go, but that can be great if you just
Yeah.
want to do a casual line.
But so it's accessible, but that's something that people, they don't have to know how to make a t-shirt pattern, so there's all
No.
different layers. So
Yeah.
it really does just depend on what you're looking for. Of course, any kind of even community colleges in like the middle of nowhere will probably have a pattern making class, or it is listed in colleges and things like that. I am also part of a group called Fashion Group International.
Mm,
Dallas is the second largest chapter of that, New York being the first largest.
okay.
And that's a good one as far as if it's just networking or talking to people. They have experts, they do different things.
Oh, that's great.
Um, yeah, it's a good group for kind of finding peers and
Mm.
kind of making friends in that, and probably some opportunity. But like I said, I am also, kind of like your Warrior Women in Business group, which obviously it doesn't focus on apparel. Like I've used most of my business groups, like the C-suite network,
Oh,
leadership
yeah.
global, all of those. Those for me are more business education and clients. Like I have a lot of clients in those groups because they want to come across more elevated. They are, more elevated, and they want their wardrobe to reflect that.
Right.
So, but yeah, as far as if they're wanting to get into fashion, I think I would start with figure out education wise, like what you're looking and kind of talk to your local colleges that have that major, or just finding a mentor that if you're just wanting to do e-commerce or just wanting to do something else, it kind of depends on what you're trying to do.
Yeah, there's so much that can be done because, like, my background example is in jewelry marketing. That in itself is a
Yeah.
segment, but it's
Hmm.
huge. So
Yes,
I think with
absolutely.
fashion, there's so many ways to go. Like
Yeah.
we've been talking about,
Hmm.
whether we're going to bring in a shoe line into this, and that's a whole nother.
Hmm.
So fashion,
Exactly.
the industry is so exciting because there's so many elements to it, right? So I love
Hmm.
that you talked about do that, what we do in
Yeah.
personal branding, right? We help our clients figure out where they want, what they want to do and what they really
Yeah.
want to do. And then,
Exactly.
and then there's lots of resources. Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. So two more questions. One
Hmm.
is, besides obviously launching the fashion line at
Hmm.
the event, what are you excited about personally about being a part of this?
Most of my fashion, when I started my brand, I did the wholesale shows. Like wholesale to specialty boutiques
Hmm.
initially, and then went direct to consumer, went to that. So I think
Uh,
it's going to be fun to really get to focus on the visual presentation. Um, I have a handful of clients from Dallas that are probably going to come fly up there for the show for the
Yay.
weekend for Valentine's Day and kind of make an event out of it. And I think but I love really the coming together, all of, like you said, the mayor's office, the charity. I think all of those pieces coming together to take, because I always tell, I have the fun job. I definitely have the fun job. Like I get to have the super fun job. So anytime we can use that to empower women in how they come across, how they do that, but also to help, with through the charity aspect of it too, and bring people together because fashion is entertaining. People enjoy coming. They
Very
want to
much
come
so.
see the show. They love, again, that visual display. It can be very artistic and inspiring, whether that's something you'd wear or not, but it is inspiring and interesting just to be exposed to different things. And so I love that we can take that, just that positive experience for everybody and make it benefit those that really need our help.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. I'll tell you what I'm excited about because I'm literally every day in the elevator and I'm not kidding, in the dog park, in the grocery store, talking to people. I'm so excited about this event. And what's interesting, what I'm so excited about is so many different people from so
Mhm.
many different walks of life this is resonating with. So there's
Mm.
fashion influencers that are coming, we're performing music. There's
Mhm.
music influencers that are coming. There's doctors and lawyers and interior designers. It's just all these people in New York City that just are so interested in the cause and in fashion and in New York Fashion Week. So I
Mhm.
think for me it's going to be really exciting to kind of just look around and see who's connecting. And like you
Mm.
mentioned, in some of these business groups, I think this should be a great ecosystem for people to connect and do business right on the spot because there's going to be so many like A players there. So I don't know that for me, I've been realizing that over the last couple of weeks, like who are all these different people that I thought initially it would just be people in the fashion industry. No, it's like every different industry is just they're really interested. So, and like you said, a wardrobe really dictates the success for any woman, no matter what her occupation is, right?
Mhm. And again, it's very similar to art where you can appreciate and go and look at art no matter what you do. And I think that's the same with fashion is they can
Absolutely.
appreciate and enjoy it. And especially people that aren't in the fashion industry. I think they're the ones who are going to appreciate and love it even the most because it's something so different than what their area of expertise is. So I feel like you can really, one of my absolute favorite quotes is appreciation is a wonderful thing. It takes what is excellent in others and makes it yours as well. And I think that is such a way that a lot of really positive people live their life.
I love that. Yeah, I absolutely love that. Something I've been saying lately is to the men, to the men
Yeah.
or the partners, um, to couples to say, you know what else would you do on Valentine's Day? This is different. It starts at we're doors open at 4:30 and
Mhm.
it goes to 6:30. So you have time for dinner, you have time for your entire evening, and this could be your pre-evening very special event. So
Yeah.
I don't know, I just think it's so available, and I've been in
Mhm.
New York a long time. Attending fashion shows when I was in the jewelry industry, I believe it or not, I helped to outfit the models with the jewelry. That was fun and weird. And so it used to be so exclusive and so hard to get in. This is just something, it's it's the monies are raising that we're raising or supporting ending teen violence. So if for families and moms, it's we're welcoming people. So
Mhm.
absolutely. Okay. What is the best way? My last question. What's the best way for Warrior Women to contact you?
Well, on my website, sarahjones.shop, there, if you scroll down a little bit, there is a Meet with Sarah where you can schedule just a
Yes.
Zoom consultation. I would love to talk with you about anything you need. The other way, you can also, of course, on Instagram, private message me, but definitely my website has it has our upcoming events. It has how to schedule a Zoom or to meet in person with me if you happen to be in Dallas. And yeah, I would direct everything's kind of there, and then you can kind of branch off from the website. So sarahjones.shop.
Perfect. And we'll put that all in the show notes as well as the resource that you mentioned that has the chapter in Dallas. So, and we would love for you to meet Sarah at the event, of course. Of course.
Yes.
So, yes, and we're going to have time because we have that whole window. We have time for you to connect with her after the fashion show itself to have a conversation. We're going to have some samples there and pieces and things that you can look through. So, that being said, I have a couple of notes, couple things I wanted to mention to all of you. So, first of all, if you're interested in attending this event, meeting Sarah and seeing the line and listening to the music and meeting the influencers. Tickets are still on sale. We extended the early bird special because of the holidays, really got in the middle of everything. We extended that to the end of this week. I mean, to get into this fashion show is like, it's so reasonable, it's crazy. And then we're also doing a special offer for anyone that purchases the necklace. We have two necklaces on sale. For anybody who purchases a necklace, they get a discount on the ticket. And then one other thing I wanted to mention around that, the mayor's office, who I've been spending a lot of, not the whole mayor's office, but their one division, NGVV, I've been spending quite a bit of time with. We're going to be we're going to be launching their donation page pre-event. So there's an opportunity to donate pre-event. It's really important. And then also silent auction partners, anything that silent auction partners give, there's a tax break on that. And that it's just a great opportunity to help the community. So in our show notes, on our website, in all our social media, are links to the official event page, information about Sarah and her line, information about her website, information about the mayor's office, NGBV, which is very important. They're the charity partner of this event. Without them, this could not be possible. Information also, if you have a brand, we've been working lately with smaller brands that are interested in just getting some visibility around this, and we have opportunities to donate. Like we have the Museum of Broadway, for example, that has amazing costumes, Sarah, and so they just donated tickets to the silent auction. So if you're interested in getting your brand involved, whether as a silent auction partner or a true partner of the event, you can definitely reach out to us. We're happy to answer any questions. Uh, Saloni Sethi was just on the podcast last week. She's the commissioner for NGBV. That podcast should be out this week, so you can take a look at that. Previous to that, for those of you that are interested in consuming more of the podcast, was the amazing woman, the vice president of women's business at Key Bank for Women. That's going to be one of our partners for this event as well. So you can learn all about becoming a member at Key Bank, and they have so many amazing financial education resources. And I always talk about that because that I think is one of the most important things that you need to know about as a business owner, right, Sarah?
Yes.
Understanding your finances. So,
Mhm.
so all of those things, I just want to mention them. Again, my name is Jasmine Sandler. Really excited for the launch of this fashion brand, and more importantly, for Sarah and I to come together and support women in business and female executives, both from the inside and out. Moving forward, our intention is definitely to do this not just as a one-off, but be able, right, to provide impact for the long term. So we'll be talking about that on the 14th. But that's it for me. So Sarah, do you have any other comments, anything that you wanted to say before we close off?
No, I think everything is wonderful. I would love for anybody to go visit my website. And if you do want to order something that you can wear to the fashion show, you let us know. We usually, you want to allow probably a month or something like that. So it's coming up quick. But yeah, we'll have things there at the show. We're very excited. We're going to be bringing the jewelry. We're going to have a few pieces that you can either order from the show, different things. But we're very excited kicking off this partnership with the Warrior Women in Business to really have you well equipped and well dressed for everything that you're out there to accomplish.
I love
And
this.
thank you so much for having me on the show.
No, thank you. And I'm like I said, I can't say, enough great things about like this partnership. It's really exciting to take Warrior Women to the next level in 2026. So, okay, so for that, I'm going to close off episode 74. Again, this is Warrior Women in Business Podcast. My name is Jasmine Sandler. Any questions that you have for the Warrior Women team, any ways you want to get involved with us, we have memberships available at every level. Just check out warriorwomenbusiness.com. All of that is available. I look forward to hearing back from all of you. If anybody has questions about the event or about Sarah, you can just shoot us an email as well. We're very open. So again, thank you, Sarah, and thank you to all who tuned in. This podcast episode will be edited and fully out as an edited podcast next week. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sarah.